Good day viewers, my name is Audrey Polton. Welcome to lesson 4 for grade 10 and 11 physics. The topic of today is conduction of thermal energy. Let's have a look at the lesson objectives. At the end of today's lesson, you should be able to define conduction of heat, describe experiments to demonstrate the properties of good and bad conductors of heat, give a simple molecular account of the heat transfer in insulators and migration of electrons in metals. Conduction is one of the ways how thermal energy can be transferred. Conduction is defined as the transfer of heat energy through an object without the movement of its particles or without the particles changing position. This means that the heat is transferred while no movement of particles happens. Think about a frying pan. If it is heated on the one side, the heat is transferred to the other side, but no atoms moved because it is in a fixed position. Generally, metals are good conductors of heat. For example, metal saucepans are conducting heat well to prepare food. The metals are better conductors because they contain free electrons. The electrons move through the metal easily and pass on the heat energy. Copper, iron, aluminium, brass, silver and gold are good conductors of heat. Conduction is better in solids than in liquids and in gases. This is because in solids particles are closely packed together. Bad conductors of heat are called insulators. In insulators, the particle does not have enough freedom to vibrate and transfer heat. There is also not a free electron to transfer the heat. Non-metals are good insulators. Materials containing trapped air are, for example, glass, stone, plastic, wood, foam, and polystyrene, and they are called insulators. As described before, conduction is the transfer of heat without particles moving. A simple experiment which can be done to see how conduction works is when we have a metal rod and stick paper clips to it with a low melting point Vaseline. We will then place the on-side of the metal rod in a heat source like a Bunsen burner. The heat will conduct from the one side of the metal to the other side. The Vaseline will melt one by one. First the one closest to the heat source and then the one next to it, and this pattern will keep on going. This shows us that the heat is not transferred randomly by the movement of particles but from one side to the others. To look at the conductivity of different metals, we can place different metals of the same length next to each other connected to the same heat source. A drawing pin will be attached with Vaseline at the same length on the other side of the rod. When the heat source is turned on, the heat will start to conduct, and the better conductor, like copper in this case, will first let the Vaseline melt and drop the drawing pin. From this experiment, we will see that some metals are better conductors than other metals. Let's summarize what we have learned today. Conduction is defined as the transfer of heat energy through an object without the movement of its particles or without the particles changing position. Metals are better conductors because they contain free electrons. The electrons move through the metal easily and pass on the heat energy. Copper, iron, aluminium, brass, silver and gold are good conductors of heat. Bad conductors of heat are called insulators. Non-metals are good insulators. Materials containing trapped air are, for example, glass, stone, plastic, wood, foam, and polystyrene. They are called insulators. We've come to the end of the lesson for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.